Today I'm going to teach you guys how to turn leftover roast beef into fajitas. Usually I use chicken breast for this recipe, but I had leftover roast beef, so that's what I used. I'm going to be seasoning my dish with paprika, cumin, salt, and pepper. I will also be using salsa, pinto beans, fiesta cheese, soft shell tortillas, an onion, and a bell pepper. I also have 1 cup of rice to 2 cups water, and the star of the dish, the leftover roast beef. I'm going to start by prepping my onion. I'm just going to slice that into small rings. I'm going to prep my bell pepper. Just going to run my knife through it, throw away what I don't need, and then I'm going to slice it. In a preheated pan, I'm going to put some vegetable oil and saute my onions and peppers together. Be careful, guys. I had a little water in my bowl from rinsing it, and it popped a little bit. Just stirring that together. I'm going to season it with some cumin and paprika. Going to give that a stir. When you get color on it, I'm going to cover it. A few minutes later, I'm going to uncover it. It's going to be done. Wilted, ready to go. Now I'm going to sit that to the side in a separate bowl. And I'm going to use the same pan to heat my pinto beans. Has a lot of flavor left over from the peppers, onions, and seasonings. That pan is still on a medium heat. Just going to get those beans out the pan. I'm going to season those with salt, pepper, cumin, and paprika. The same seasonings, just keeping everything tied together, guys. I'm going to give those a stir on medium heat, let that come up to a boil. So I'll cover that and let that warm through. After a few minutes, they come to a boil. I'm going to give them a stir to make sure nothing's sticking at the bottom of the pan. Then I'll set those to the side. In a separate pot, I'm going to put 2 cups of cold water, the 1 cup of rice. I'm going to give that a stir. Then I'm going to cut up my heat to medium high. I'm going to cover that and let that come up to a boil. Should take around about 5 minutes or so. After a few minutes, it's boiling, so I'm going to give that a stir to make sure nothing's sticking. Then I'm going to cut my heat down to medium-low. I'm going to cover that pot and let it finish cooking. Now I'm going to prep my beef by slicing it. Thin slices. And I'm kind of just slicing those in half, then dicing it. And then it, kind of just chunky pieces are fine. I'm gonna sit it to the side in a separate bowl until it's ready to be heated. Meanwhile, I'm gonna check back on my rice. After about another few minutes, it's pulling away and it's looking pretty fluffy. There's no more water at the bottom of the pan. When it's done, this is what it looks like. In a separate pan, I'm gonna put some oil. Don't talk about my pan, guys. Every cook has that pan that they don't want to let go of, whether it's passed down or just their favorite. Now I'm gonna put the half of the beef. I'm just warming that through. I do half because I like to have it for dinner and then for lunch the next day. So I'm just gonna season that beef, guys, with the cumin, paprika, salt, and pepper. Keeping all the flavors tied together in the same, just throughout the dish. I'm gonna stir that. And we're just heating this through, guys. This is already pre-cooked beef, so it doesn't take long to heat up. Alright, after a few minutes, the beef gets a little bit more color on it. I put a pat of butter to give the meat a little bit more richness. You can do beef stock as well. And so after that's heated through, time to build the tortilla. Now for me, guys, I'm putting a little less meat than I would for like my husband or my son. It's because I like everything to have a certain thickness to it. I don't like it to be too overflowing out of the tortilla. I like a little bit of everything. But you can build these any way you like. You could use the burrito shells, which would be really good for this recipe. And you can stuff and make burritos, which will be really fulfilling. And that is the end result, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe.